We got this one right. It's Houston, right? Welcome back, Raider Nation and my champions. This is Eric, and we are back live once again on a Friday evening. We're doing another live stream. Yes, we're doing another game preview. This one's week 7 against Houston. We're back off the bye and ready to go. I want to say hello to everybody out there. I know people are just starting to file in YouTube land. I see Dominique here. What's up? What's up to you, Dominique? I see a few people in TikTok as well. How are you doing? Of course, we are simulcasting both on TikTok and on YouTube live. Hopefully, I'm still looking for that stream key. We're going to be doing a week 7 preview against the Texans. I'm going to give you my 4 keys that I think we need to do to win this game and some strengths and weaknesses according to that. So let's get right to that. If you are new to the program, of course, we do what I call the rundown here, and you can see this here. These are our categories, of course, as we run down the list. And of course, we always end up with a question and answer segment. Of course, we're going to be doing our actual live chat, and I'll give a link in the description in a second on the YouTube side. The link is in the description in TikTok side, and we'll get to that in a minute. But first, let's talk about our recent champions. Of course, we talk about you guys first. Without you guys, there is no channel.
I hear everyone say it. Take what they give you. We're going to take what we want.
Now, of course, the champion count went up a little bit. That's good. And of course, it's going up on TikTok as well. Thanks to you all for your support. Of course, not only watching now live, but if you're catching this on the replay, why not subscribe to the channel? Check it out. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, of course, and of course, subscribe. Hey, Psycho Jackal, I see you in here as well. What's up? We're going to talk about this game coming up. So I did put out a poll. I put out a poll every week before we do our game previews. This is the Raider poll of the week. Looked at the next 5 games on the list. We got Houston at New Orleans, at Jacksonville, the Colts, and at Denver. A lot easier schedule, in my opinion, than the first 5 games that we had. I wanted to ask you, how many of you guys think we're going to win? Very optimistic. Over 50% said we're going to win all 5 games. Then we got various answers. So we should be able to win all 5 of these games. They are actually winnable. And this next week's game, I mean, watching me on the big screen. I appreciate that, Earth Daughter. You can watch me on the big screen. You can watch me on your tablet, on your phone, whatever you like. So I appreciate that. Every single one of you on TikTok and YouTube side. So yeah, I'm thinking that, like I said, these 5 games are doable. Houston's very doable. I'm going to go over their strengths and weaknesses right now into the game preview, and let's do it.
The other team's quarterback must go down, and he must go down hard.
So of course we go over the base lineup, and if you're new here, we put these are based on total yardage in the league, run, pass defense, and overall versus their offense, and we do that on the other side of the ball. And we always start off on the defensive side of the ball for our Raiders. But the first thing we always do in the game preview is look at the final injury report. It just came out this afternoon. Let's take a look at that. Now, we got one player out, of course, is Darren Waller with the hamstring. Only played, 6 snaps 2 weeks ago in that game against the Chiefs. He's out this week. Foster Moreau is going to be the starting tight end, of course. Then we have Jaden Brown was questionable. He was questionable last game as well, but played. Mac Hollins is questionable with a heel. And Hunter Renfrow is back. It's not the concussion. It's actually a hip-related injury. Limited practice. I think he's going to play, but he's probably going to have limited reps. But on the Houston Texans side, Jonathan Greenard, the other guy on the edge, opposite of Jerry Hughes. We'll talk about them when we get to our offensive side. He's out for the game. Hughes was listed on the injury report as a knee, but he had full practice last 2 days. I think he's good to go. Then they got a couple wide receivers out here. Chris Moore and Nico Collins have been on the list. And then a couple backup players. So I'm not so concerned about that. So let's get into this. My first key to the game, of course, The first one's going to be pretty easy. It's going to be pretty basic, of course. I'm going to highlight I'm going to say they're not only their best player on offense, probably their best player on the team. That's Dameon Pierce, the fourth-round rookie running back. Of course, if you're not new to the program, this is a guy I touted during the draft process in the spring. This is a guy I wanted, University of Florida. Tree trunk legs, hard to stop. This is our between the tackles guy I wanted. We didn't get him. We got Zamir White. But he's doing it to it on the Houston Texans. Last 3 games, he's actually kind of gotten into his groove here. He's got over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns last 3 games. So he's our biggest threat. So I'm going to put that as a threshold of 100 rushing yards. We got to get under that and no rushing touchdowns, which frankly is very doable because I'm going to go back to the second key of the game. And this is basically going to be on the defense. And this is why Houston Texans are terrible. You can see here, worst offensive overall as far as yardage goes. Total number of first downs, they're 30th in the league. Third down conversions, 31st. They're 19th in sacks. It's a little bit sacks allowed. That's a little bit better, but still below average. But the one thing that they do well is red zone scoring when they get there. Now, they've only been there 10 times, but they've scored 6 times when they do get there. That's 60%. That's tied for 10th in the league. That's better than we are. So I want to say we get at least 3+ sacks here. Of course, Mad Max coming off the birth of his daughter. He's probably going to come out. He always plays hard. Still waiting for that Chandler Jones sack. I want to get some plays up the middle, of course. Their best offensive lineman, Laramie Tunsil, the guy who was drafted by Miami and the whole smoky with the mask incident, if you remember that during the draft. Titus Howard, not a bad tackle either. But this middle, I think, is kind of exploitable. Kenyon Green, the rookie, I think Bilal Nichols could feast here and get a sack as well. I want to see at least 3 sacks. And right here, 0 red zone touchdowns. I don't think they're going to get in the red zone that much, maybe twice in this game, but we got to shut them out. Only field goals. So, like I said, the Texans are one of the worst teams in the league. Came off their first win of the season at Jacksonville before the bye. They had a bye last week as well. Very ugly game, 16-9. This is not an offense we should be worried about, but they can run the ball, and they don't make a whole lot of mistakes as far as turnovers, so we can't allow them to score in the red zone when they're there. If you are enjoying this, why not give it a thumbs up? Why not subscribe? And especially if you're watching this on a replay, that way you'll be here with us live, and you'll be here for our next live, of course. That is at halftime this Sunday. Game time starts at 1:05. We'll be there about 2:30. Whenever halftime starts, around about 10 or 15 minutes. Talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, in my opinion. We also go over the 4 keys to the game, see how they're doing. Have a lot of fun, a lot of interaction, and I encourage you to come out and join us.
I hear everyone say, take what they give you. We're going to take what we want.
As far as the offensive side of the ball goes, of course, Darren Waller's out, Foster Moreau's in. It is a step down, not a huge step down, but definitely a step down. Hunter Renfrow dinged up with the hip. Still, I think is going to play. Not so worried about. The only player I'm really worried about here is this guy, Jerry Hughes, 4 sacks. But likely he's going to be lining up. He lines up normally on the right side. He's going to be going up against Colton Miller. I don't see a whole lot of issues there. But the first key to the game I want to do is, of course, I put him on the thumbnail. We're talking about running. And I'm talking about Josh Jacobs, but I'm not only talking about Josh Jacobs, I'm talking about Zamir White. I want to see White in this game. I want to see maybe 60-40 split in the carries. We got to pound the ball against this team. They are 30th against the run. They were terrible against the run last year. I talked about perhaps in the offseason trading Cleve Farrell to them to get Brandon Cooks before we got Devontae Adams because their run defense was so bad. And Cleve Farrell can set that edge as a defensive end, so it probably would have been a win-win both sides. That didn't happen. They're still pretty bad against stopping the run. And I put a lofty goal here. Well, I mean, their run defense sucks, but it's still a lofty goal, over 150 rush yards. I want to see 2 touchdowns rushing, and I want to see at least 7 rushing first downs there. If we do that, this game is over unless we do something crazy, and that's what I'm going to get to my second key to the game here. And I put it under Carr, but this is generally offense in general. I want to say over 400 total yards combined, 25 total plus first downs. And this is the big one right here. No turnovers. No turnovers. The Texan team, they're not that good, but they're very opportunistic. Kind of reminds me of the Colts last year. Not very good. They're even worse than the Colts were last year. But don't give them an opportunity. If we go and step on these guys' necks and get a big lead and hold on to it and don't let off the gas, this is going to be an easy win for us. The talent just isn't there on this team, to be honest with you. Davis Mills is one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the league. He's got like a 60%, under 60% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. I could see us getting some turnovers, maybe another defensive touchdown. That could totally happen like we did with Denver, not only with a fumble, but a pick 6. But we have to keep the ball. We have to play a clean game. I think that was the big one I have, and I did put that as an option for the quiz on here. We have, what is the biggest keys to the game? I said, is it stopping Dameon Pierce, keeping Jerry Hughes off of Derek Carr, having a clean game, minimizing the turnovers and penalties, or other? And that would be my vote. Honestly, that would be my vote here, is basically if we play a clean game, we don't turn the ball over, they can't keep up with us. Their defense is terrible. Their offense isn't that much better, but they are starting to establish a running game with Dameon Pierce. We have shown we've been stopping the run pretty well overall. Had some spurts here and there, but overall doing a much better job, especially than we did last season. So I do not expect a huge issue with this game unless we do something stupid, of course. It goes without saying, no stupid penalties, no turnovers. And this is what I'm going to say our prediction is. I'm going to say 34-16 Raiders. This one should be a relatively easy win. Had the week off, I know they did as well. We're playing at home against, honestly, an inferior team. They have a better record than us, but they've been playing a bunch of kind of questionable teams. Denver's won. They played the Colts. They barely beat Jacksonville. I think that this is a nice team to get a good run started for us, and quite frankly, we need that at this point, being 1-4. But I want to know what you have to say right here. Put your actual predictions for this game. I said 34-16. Put them in the comments section. Either if you're here live, put them in the chat right now, either on Facebook or YouTube, or put them on the replay on YouTube. I want to hear what you have to say. Of course, I read the comments. I answer most of them except for like the German porn bots. You know, I probably shouldn't say this word here, especially on this other channel. But anyway, let's get to the Q&A. This is my favorite part of this whole thing, and I want to see how you guys are doing. I put this on here, as you can see. Is this going to be a trap game for us? It shouldn't be. Like I said, this is one of the worst teams in the league. As long as we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, we should be okay. Are you having an issue with the volume? Let's see. Hello? I don't want to put it up too high because then it'll start reverberating and cracking. So let's see. Dominique is saying sounds lower than usual on the volume. I'm trying to get a sweet spot here for that. So also I had to kind of change some of my setup so that way TikTok can hear some of the sounds. So when we get into the chat portion of this, you should be able to hear this. Volume could be about 25% louder. I don't want to get it too loud. See if this might be a little too loud. So let me back it off. I have an analog, so I just have to kind of play with it. So I can't listen to it right now while we're doing a live stream. Anyway, if you guys want to get in on this, let's see. If you guys want to get in on this, I'm going to put this down right here. So I'm going to pin this comment. I'm going to pin this right now. You can get in on this right now. If you're on TikTok, you can do it as well. It's in the description, so check the description of this and click the link. So we're going to go to that right now. If you guys want to come aboard and have a chat, just like we have before. And let me see. While I'm getting that set up, there's the link in the description right there. So you can check that out. Okay. Let me know how the sound is right now. I want to blow you guys out. Let's see. You guys want to get on board? I want to hear what you have to say. What's your take on this game? What is your take on the Raiders in general? I know we came off a tough loss. 2 weeks removed. We had the bye week with the Chiefs. 1 point loss. Went for 2, didn't make it. I still say, what's the point if we couldn't stop the offense? What would be the point anyway? They could get a field goal. Plus, you pushed their kicker was playing badly that game. But Butker was not in the game. So why go for 2 there? Why not tie the game? Let's see. Let me know if you can hear this. I'm sure TikTok can hear this. So if you want to come on, there's the link. You can click on that. You'll be placed in kind of like the green room. I'll see you in here, and then I'll add you, and then you can come on. Now, you don't have to use your camera, but of course, you will have to have a mic so we can hear you. And it should be resolved as far as being able to hear everybody speak. I've kind of got it over the speakers, so those of you on TikTok should be able to hear this as well. We can hear you. Great. Now, am I too loud now or just right? You let me know. It's just kind of playing with it. I had it too loud before, and I kind of moved it down, but I haven't messed with that setting in a couple live streams though. I have been messing with the other ones, some of the speaker ones, trying to get that a little bit higher so that can be heard. So if anybody wants to come on board, you can come on board, talk about this game with the Texans. Of course, we're also going to be going live at the halftime. So 1:05 Pacific time start. So we're looking at about 2:30. We'll be on at the halftime show. I come on for about 10 or 15 minutes during the half and talk about the game. I give what I call my good, my bad, my ugly, what I saw in the first half, and also go over those 4 keys of the game and see if we are pacing for that. So, frankly, if we lay an egg on this one, I mean, guys, I would say McDaniels probably needs to go. I mean, this is probably the worst team in the league. Of course, we're 1-4. They're 1-3-1. But we've had much tougher competition. We played them much closer. This team can't score points. I think they've scored like 80 points in 5 games. So I think they're at the very bottom for total scoring. Most of the offensive metrics, they're below average and near the bottom end. Unless we give them the ball in the red zone, they're very efficient in the red zone. I know a couple teams. I know the Chargers turned the ball over a couple times against these guys. Jacksonville did. So they are opportunistic, but I can't see them having like a 12, 14 play drive running, going down the field 80 yards and scoring a touchdown. I do not see that unless we can't tackle Damian Pierce and he just runs all over us. That's why I put that as a key to the game on the offensive side. So let's see. Need a little bit of a drink key. It's just tea, guys. So, okay. So, like I said, put your predictions in the chat. If you don't want to come on, that's fine. I don't see anybody coming on just yet. Put your predictions in the chat. We will be looking at those. If you have any other questions about the game, if you have any questions about the Raiders, you have questions about Darren Waller, the trade deadline is November was it November 1st? No, November 5th. So there's a lot of talk that we might trade some of these guys that we didn't pick up their extensions, like a Jonathan Abram. I've heard Cleve Farrell being talked about. That's possible. Not so sure. It would be nice to get a corner. We're awfully thin. We've been thin, and with Nate Hobbs on short-term IR, we're extremely thin. But still, I think I'm not so. I would rather have Davis Mills beat us than to let Dameon Pierce run all over us. I think he's much more talented. I think Davis Mills has some accuracy issues, and with Mad Max chasing him, he's going to be even worse. I'm not so worried about that. I did give them 16 points. I'm assuming they're going to get a touchdown somewhere and get 3 field goals. That's probably pretty good for this team. That would be above their average. So let's see. Beard Lover. I got invite Beard Lover to go live on TikTok. What's up? What's up, P Baron 12? How you doing? I see people on TikTok in here. How you guys doing in here? What's going on? I want to see your guys' predictions as well. I'm doing this simulcast, so if you look, I've got my tablet right here. I'm doing that, so you're seeing my main screen, my computer screen here for those on TikTok. Unfortunately, I do not have a stream key. That's something that ties into your laptop where you can stream directly from the platform. I can do live streams like I do with YouTube. I can do it, but TikTok does not give me a stream key yet. Once I do that, I can put them all together. I don't have to have the tablet anymore, and then I can combine. I can add the chat boxes on both sides so everybody can see everybody else's chat. Won't be an issue. So that's what I'm waiting for as far as that goes. I'm looking. There's some more voting going on, and the biggest keys to the game here. It's kind of split between Dameon Pierce and a clean game. Of course, you want to stop their biggest offensive weapon, but even if this guy gets 100 and a touchdown, if we play clean, we should be able to win this game, at least by double digits. Like I said, the third down conversions are terrible. And that reflects a lot on the quarterback. I mean, like I said, Dameon Pierce has 300 yards the last 3 games combined total. So he's averaging a little over 100 yards a game. Let me get this back up for you TikTokers. So he's averaging little over 100 yards a game, 1 touchdown per game last 3 games. He's basically kind of moved into that starting role like I thought he would. That's why I wanted this guy on our team. He's a bruising back, a little shorter. Doesn't have the receiving pedigree, but he can run between the tackles. I thought he would have made a great replacement for Josh Jacobs from running the ball up the middle. So let's see. And that's when we still had Kenyon Drake too for the outside. So that's not there, but let's see. Adrian, I'm not going to say your other name. How you doing? I got to be careful, guys, especially you TikTokers. I have to be really careful what I say on that platform. I got a little naughty. I got sent to the principal's office for a week because I said a certain word on there. So I'm going to have to kind of mind my P's and Q's, if you know what I mean, on this platform. Some things are more restrictive on, other things are not. I know I have a pretty good following on TikTok. That's why I live stream on both platforms. So let's see. I will be going live at halftime on both platforms as well. I also will be doing a game review on Monday night, 6 o'clock Pacific, as I normally do for the Sunday game. So I hope to see you guys there. Let's see. You guys have any other questions? I'm not seeing, I don't know. Maybe all of you got that flu bug going around. I heard there's a pretty nasty flu bug going around the country. So if you are, get your water, get your Gatorade going. I see something here. SGGSG. Almost kind of looks like eggs G. Is asking for Devontae Adams stat line prediction. Probably around 100 and a touchdown. I mean, I'm not so worried. Honestly, I'm not so worried about Steven Nelson. He's probably going to be the guy on him, not Stingley Jr., their high draft pick. Steven Nelson, that's the corner from Philly that I talked about as a possible free agent in the offseason. Would have been nice. I mean, he's not a great corner, but he's a decent corner. He's actually ranked higher than either one of our starting corners, Amik or Rock Ya-Sin. So according to PFF, but take that what you will. But we definitely could have used him right now with Nate Hobbs gone, Trayvon Mullen traded. So yeah, it's going to be probably another triple digit and at least one touchdown game. Hunter Renfro's, I don't know what, that's going to be the bigger question. How effective is he going to be? Foster Moreau's going to be there. Quite frankly, though, can Derek Carr trust Foster Moreau? Seems like he either fumbles or he stops his route short, causing problems. He's got the talent. I just think he needs to concentrate a little bit more in his game. Dominic says we better run the ball. I want to see Zamir. I want to see Zamir too. This would be a great kind of coming out game for Zamir White. I think you could very well see both Jacobs and Zeus getting a touchdown each in this game. It would not surprise me at all. 150 plus rushing yards. This defense, this rush defense is like paper. Their pass defense isn't much better, to be honest with you. This is one of the worst teams in the league. So unless we hurt ourselves with penalties or turnovers, this one should be a relatively easy game, to be honest with you. Again, the one thing they're good at, they're very opportunistic. They cash in on turnovers pretty well, and they cash in once they can get into the red zone. They're one of the worst teams getting into the red zone, but once they are, they're one of the top. They're in the top 10 for scoring red zone touchdown percentage. So I'm just going to call you Eggs G. That SGG is kind of. Eggs says big Jacobs game. Absolutely big Jacobs game. Big Zamir White game. Plus that takes the heat from Jerry Hughes off. I think Colton Miller's going to handle him. I don't see a big issue there. He does have 4 sacks. He is an above average pass rusher, but if you can run the ball, oh, thank you for the hat and mustache. One of those things I saw it, by the way. One of those things, if those of you on YouTube, if you're not familiar with TikTok, they can give gifts. They can put hats and mustaches on you. Well, I kind of look like a Texan there, so actually a Raider. So I wonder if they have any pirate ones you could put on. So I appreciate that, though. Diane Theed, how you doing? Big Jacobs game, big Zamir White game. This one should be a rollover, guys. This one should be easy peasy. Again, if it's not, if we see the same things that we've seen in the past with bye-week blues, and we saw that last year with the Giants, that should have been a win. The Giants defense was much better than this defense this year with Houston. So if we don't win this game, I mean, we might make a change to head coach. I mean, this is, again, you can argue this is the worst team in the league. Houston Texans are probably the worst team in the league. So I want to see Tyron Johnson. I would like to see him too. This would be a good opportunity to throw the ball down the field, use that speed. Again, they do have Jalen Petrie touted, not having not so great a season, to be honest with you, but I think we can take them. Oh, I see feathers everywhere on TikTok. I appreciate that gift as well. Thank you very much. Let's see how many over 500 likes. Let's see how many likes we have on the YouTube side. 7 likes on the YouTube side. I appreciate that. Let's see. Tyron Johnson. Yeah. I like I was touting Tyron Johnson when he was with the Chargers. So, kind of a guy we need the speed. His problem is hands, especially in the preseason. It's kind of iffy with that guy as far as that goes. So I was kind of surprised he made it and Demarcus Robinson didn't. But it is what it is. You guys, any more questions about the Raiders? You got any questions about this game? Another thing Houston does rather well is field position. They have above average punt group, and they can kind of pin you. So, but like I said, their defense is terrible. So, to me, that gives us more field to get more yards with when they do punt. So, I'm not so worried about it. I'm not worried about Davis Mills. They'll probably emphasize covering Cooks more. Moore is injured. Collins was on the injury report. He's technically off, but he's obviously not 100%. Lencho, how you doing? I see you in here. Dominic says, what do we do with Waller? He might be a guy we trade. Believe it or not. I'm kind of tired of this game with him. Is he injured? Is he not playing games when Gruden was there because he didn't play because he didn't like Gruden, and then he was hurt for a few games, but then we were close to making the playoffs. So now he's healthy. He plays against the Chargers. It's a playing game. Plays the Bengal game. He was in that game as well. Hurt during preseason. Like a little sit out because he wanted more money. He ended up getting more money, not producing. I'm tired of the games, to be honest with you, with this guy. If he wants to leave, let's trade him and get something for him. Lencho says, want to see an interception and fumble recovery and 2 sacks from Jones. That's pretty lofty from Jones since he doesn't have a sack this year. But if you're going to get it from somebody, he's going to have to get around Laramie Tunsil, who is an above average left tackle. If he plays well in this game, honestly, this is kind of like, this is a game we come off the bye. And I said this before, this is a game where we could, how do I say this? Houston is not that good. I think they're probably the worst team in the league. You could argue maybe a couple other teams, but this is the kind of game where we get our bearings straight, start winning. We're at home. There's no excuse for not blowing the doors off this team, to be honest with you. So, and that includes Chandler Jones. Like I said, he's got a Laramie Tunsil is no slouch, but he's no slouch either. So it's time to put up or shut up with this guy, to be honest with you. Mills is terrible when you take away Cooks from him. Yeah. And they had O.J. Howard. I think he was a little overhyped in Tampa, but they got him as a free agent. Still a decent receiving tight end. I just think with Mills, it's an issue with the arm and the vision. If you're not throwing it well and you're throwing ducks, they're going to get picked off. Eggs also says, same, I'm done with Waller. Love to get some picks for him. I wouldn't mind like a second and a fourth. That's probably doable with the team. I'm not so sure. Maybe I wouldn't want to keep him in the AFC, to be honest with you. I'd probably want to send him over to the NFC. Maybe Philly. Well, they already have they have Goddard, Dallas Goddard, but I don't know. Maybe the Cowboys. We've worked with them before. Dalton Schultz has been hurt. Is he going to play? Maybe Jerry Jones would like to take a turn with Waller. They went and got Amari Cooper. We got a first rounder from him. Who knows? Dominique says Bilal Nichols needs to step up. And yeah, that's what I said on the defensive side of the ball, because Their interior line, offensive line, is not that good. They got Tunsil is pretty good at left side. Green isn't bad, or not Green. The other guy on the right side, he's okay. So, but I think Max is going to eat him up too. But the middle of that line, I think there's going to be a lot of penetration. Denzel Perryman is going to be there to stop Dameon Pierce. That's going to be a heck of a matchup. Two hosses right there, you know. Denzel Perryman running into Dameon Pierce. That's like the old meme with the two trains coming in. That's going to be fun to watch. Hey, Sandy, I see you in here. We are simulcasting both on YouTube and TikTok. I appreciate you in here. And Egg says the winning streak starts here. And that's what I think. I mean, if it doesn't start here, when's it going to start? We're at home, had the week off, playing arguably the worst team in the league. One of the worst starting quarterbacks, if not the worst starting quarterback in the league, to be honest with you. I don't know. I really don't know what Houston was doing there. They had a high draft pick. They went with Stingley, the corner, instead of going after a quarterback. Not to say the quarterbacks were super great this year. Maybe they're waiting until next year. But Davis Mills isn't the answer. I would say calling him average would be kind, especially the season he's having now. Brandon Cooks, I wish we could have got that guy. We did get Devontae, but I mean, that guy's a solid player. It would be interesting if they were to trade him for the trading deadline to another team. Just got home, Sandy. That's great. Las Vegas Baby Raiders 1 is in here as well. We're talking about this game. And like I said, if you want to join in, I have the link in the description on TikTok. You can click that link and join in right here and be right here on this right side right here. If you want to join in, I can have up to 6 people in here. I think anything more than that would be a little too crowded, everybody talking over each other. But we've had a couple people in here as well as myself in here talking. Had some good times. So if you want to come on, you don't have to be on camera. Of course, you will need a mic so we can hear you. If you have anything to say about this game or the Raiders in general, I would like to hear it. So use the link. I also pinned the link in the chat on YouTube as well. So you can click on that link if you like. Let's see. And XG also says, we can't afford to lose to teams we're supposed to beat at this point. Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I said, you could argue we definitely should have won the Arizona game. We're in the hunt with the Charger game. The Chief game was kind of 50-50, to be honest with you. That could have went either way. I think we kind of screwed up with that 2-point conversion nonsense. And Sandy's on there too. Appreciate it. So put your, before we go, I usually go about 60 minutes max. So we're at the 40-minute mark. Of course, like Sandy says, if you are enjoying this, especially if you're watching this on the replay, why not join us here? Come join the chat. You can either just stay in the chat room or you can come join us right here and be live, and you can have your voice known as well, be on the show. If you are enjoying this, the way to do that is to subscribe and hit that bell notification, set it to all. That way you will be or should be notified by YouTube. Same thing with TikTok. You'll be notified as well if you follow. That's how they do it over here on the TikTok side. Instead of subscribing, they call it following, of course, if you're not familiar with that on the YouTube side. So do that. Come on board. We'll have a lot of fun. Again, we're going to be going live at halftime. It's going to be about 2:30 Pacific time. That's going to be about halftime of the game. And we'll talk and go over the game, and hopefully we'll be in good moods. We should be in good moods. Let's see. So if you have any, I want to see your predictions. I want to see your game predictions, final scores. Put them in the chat before we head on out, and then we'll see you at halftime here. So what are your game predictions for this? Like I said, I put it as 34-16 Raiders. It wouldn't surprise me if we scored 40 against this team, to be honest with you. All depends if we break some big plays like we did against the Chiefs. Speaking of which, Egg says the Chief game still hurts. Yeah, it did hurt, but we played hard. We played hard. I think McDaniels did not put us in the best position to win that game, though, at the end there with the 2-point conversion. But we did play hard. Sandy says the Raiders will win. I hope so. Like I said, I think the Texans are probably I would say they're at least the worst team in the AFC. And if you go back, I have videos on YouTube where I did an AFC ranking video in the offseason before the season started. I believe Houston was the bottom of the barrel. So there's no reason we should lose this game to Houston. And then we got the Saints in New Orleans the week after Halloween weekend. They're a little bit better, but that's a totally doable game. We just have to be careful with the ball with that team. They're a bit of a ball hawking team. So we'll talk about that one next week, though. I don't want to overlook this Texans team, but it's kind of hard not to be honest with you. You look around. I mean, they've got a pretty good future with Dameon Pierce. But this season's going to be a wash. Their defense is terrible. Davis Mills is awful. I'm sure they're going to be near the top of the draft next year. They'll probably grab a quarterback next year and just try to start the building process on that. And that's what Egg says. They're tanking for Shroud or Bryce Young. I would rather have C.J. Shroud over Bryce Young, in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of the smaller quarterbacks. I'm just not. Let's see. Lencho says, need to put their rookie DBs to the test. Well, yeah. I mean, and we got the players to do it. And Nico, let's see. Mac Hollins. Hang on. I'm reading the chat. And Mac Hollins, I mean, he's kind of coming into his own a little bit, and I think Carr's trusting him a little bit more, so that's good, especially with Renfro hurt and Waller out of this game. If you did not hear, Waller will not be playing in this game. Foster Moreau will be the starting tight end. Jeff Garrison says, we should have won 4 of the first 5 games. That's history. We have to win, take it one game at a time. Exactly, and why not? And where else should we start a good win streak at, but off a bye week at home against, I think, is at least the worst team in the AFC, if not the National Football League, in the Houston Texans. We should definitely win this game going away double digits. And even if we get a big lead, I don't want the foot off the gas until we get in at least the fourth quarter and we have over a 20-point lead. No more of this nonsense. We need to, if we want to be a championship team, do you think the Bills would let off the gas? They would be winning 35-7. Do you think the Chiefs would? No. So if you want to be at that level, you got to play at that level. And we're playing an inferior team here. Like I said, worst team in the AFC in my opinion. If we do end up with a high draft pick, what would you like to see us draft? Let's see. That's a good question, Eggs. I mean, if you could say quarterback, that's going to upset a lot of people with the Derek Carr fandom, but we could go there. I would really like to see a tackle. I'm tired of this nonsense, this shuffling we're playing. Illuminor is serviceable, maybe. Brandon Parker, I have no idea why we re-signed that guy. Leatherwood was a bust. It's a shame we couldn't have at least kept him and moved him inside, tried something, obviously. The wheels were kind of falling off with him in preseason, though. So I would say I'd like to see where we would draft and who's available as far as talent goes, but offensive tackle would be good, especially on the right side of the line. DT would be good. I mean, even linebacker, I don't think we're going to keep Perryman's as last year unless we re-sign him. That hasn't happened yet, so he could be gone, so we're going to need that. Of course, cornerback is always an issue. we're having to make up for all these missed opportunities with the draft picks from the previous regime. Let's see. Thank you for those likes. Over 1,300 likes on TikTok. I appreciate that. Thank you. Egg says I'm all in for a quarterback. Yeah, I mean, if we can get Stroud for some reason, I would say go for it. And keep Carr probably one more year. That's probably it. I mean, he's been here 9 years. Not that he's bad, but can he win a championship for us, And I think he's an above average quarterback, but if we can get like the next big thing, why not? If we can get the next Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or something, why not go for it? I mean, let's be real here. Let's look at the Buffalo Bills and let's look at the Kansas City Chiefs here. Before they got their quarterbacks, they were meddling teams. KC had Alex Smith. They were a 500 team at best. They weren't an elite team. They get Patrick Mahomes. He comes into his own year two. They go win a Super Bowl. Same thing with Buffalo and Josh Allen. Of course, they were still on the end of that Patriots run, but they were kind of a middle-of-the-road type of team at best. You get a stud quarterback, it elevates you right away. They went and got Stephon Diggs, free agent from Minnesota, and the rest is history. So why did we re-sign Jonathan Hankins? Shake my head. Because we probably needed a one technique. We needed a nose-type tackle. I know we drafted Farrell from LSU, but he's a rookie. That's what I'm thinking. And frankly, Hankins played pretty well at the end of last season. The run defense was pretty stout. It was pretty decent those last few games of the season. The only guy that really kind of hurt us was Jonathan Taylor. So Dominique says, I like Hendon Hooker. Well, he's doing the SEC. He destroyed Alabama's defense. Don't trust Ohio State quarterbacks. Justin Fields. I don't know what's going on with Justin Fields. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he's not picking up the new offense or what, but it's not looking good. It says Carr is solid, but this offense is too good for Carr to be average. Yeah, you're right. As long as he has time. And that was one of my knocks on Carr in the Chiefs game. It seemed like he was taking too long back there. And I said this before. I think the Chiefs front four is one of the better ones in the league. Definitely the AFC, if not the league. And our line, other than Colton Miller, is kind of iffy right now. We're still shuffling people. So that said, you don't take all day. You have check downs, you look, if it's not there, you check it down, and that's the way it is. I mean, a couple of those sacks and it was from that, including that roughing whatever thing, holding on the ball too long. Bears did bad. I don't know what's going on with Justin Fields. He showed a lot of promise. Obviously, Allen Robinson's not there. Mooney kind of took a step back. I think they thought Mooney could slide into that wide receiver one spot. Not really happening. They can still run the ball. Montgomery's been hurt off and on, but Herbert's done a pretty good job backing him up. So, and their offensive line's been a little better, I guess. That's not saying a whole lot, but there's still some work to be done on the offensive line there too. So, yeah, Carr needs to let go of the ball faster. Well, especially with the Chiefs game, it looked like he was trying to hit those home runs, and who knows? Let's talk about that. I mean, that last play of the game, if we didn't have three stooges at the end, Renfrow and Adams bumping into each other, that could have been very well a bomb for a touchdown and winning the game. I mean, then we would be 2-3 off a huge win in Arrowhead. I mean, that's how close that game was. So there's, of course you want to win, but there's a lot to be said about building on things like that. It's, we need some consistency for once. And, we have to go after regime after regime after regime. And I place that firmly at Mark Davis's feet. Giving Gruden 10-year, $100 million guarantee contract was ridiculous. He lucked out with all that email nonsense. I think they settled, so they didn't have to pay him all that money. But still, you don't do that. This is dumb. It says we all know the Raiders. Once the draft comes around, we're going to reach on a second and third round player. That's the previous regime. I did not see that in this draft. But however, we didn't have a first or second round pick, of course, because we traded it for Devontae. But I didn't really see that. We moved up to get Zamir White in the fourth round. I'm not going to call that a reach. I think that's a little unfair, since if Gruden and Mayock were still here, you'd be right on the money with that comment. Right on the money. 1.6K. Yeah, I see that. Mine says 1.8K. Wow, nice. There we go, 1.8K. Thank you for all those likes. Again, let's I like to close this out at about an hour. Again, we're gonna be going live. Especially if you're watching this on replay, subscribe, hit the bell notification, come with us on the live. We have a lot of fun with these lives. Last time we did the live, we got blitzed by the Grossi Posse. I don't think that's going to happen here. It's not a primetime game, but you never know. And we have fun. You get to hear me rant and get pissed off if the Raiders are losing or playing like crap, or if McDaniel does something stupid again. You'll get to hear that again. I'll have to watch the particular words I say so I don't get in trouble again, but I will be doing that. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, I hated Gruden. He's a great cheerleader. I think he kind of meant well, but I think the game kind of passed him by. I did make some videos, if you want to check those out, about grading Gruden, kind of in detail of every season, except last year. I didn't make one on that, but the first 3 seasons he was with us, who he picked up in free agency, who he dropped, who he traded, talked all about that. I've got that on my playlist if you want to look at that under grading Gruden each year, and then a summary, and it kind of shows the consistency. I'll just say that. So let's see, 1.8. Any other questions before we log out and catch you guys Sunday afternoon, of course. So I'm going to end this poll right now. Final voting. It's between stopping the run game of the rookie sensation Dameon Pierce, the guy I wanted, and having a clean game. I think the clean game is number one for me, especially with an inferior team like this. You don't want to let these guys hang around. You let a bad team hang around, you give them hope. You step on their necks, and you end all doubt. That's what you should be doing, especially if you want to be a championship team. That's what we should be doing. So, something that will always hurt me was trading away Mac. Yes, and I talk a little bit about that the first season, and I talk about Antonio Brown as well the next year. So, a lot to be said on that. Amari Cooper I talked about. I provided some stats on how he did coaching-wise, how the team did in first half and second half of games, first half and second half of seasons. And I did a summary as well. So if you are into that, I would advise you to go check that out. What do we do with Jacobs at the end of the year? We say thank you. Obviously, we didn't pick up his extension. We're not gonna sign him. It's not gonna happen. And I think that's why we moved up and got Zamir White. So I would like, at this point, this is our 6th game, week 7, our 6th game played. We moved up and got Zamir White, an inside kind of rushing back. We're playing a really crappy run defense. I mean, if you're playing fantasy, this would be a nice little cheap streaming option. I could see Zamir White getting a touchdown this game. And you pay nothing for him, like you go to FanDuel or DraftKings or whatever like that. This could be something. Over 2,500 likes. Thank you very much. Do we trade him this year? No, I wouldn't trade him this year. No way. I would 9 likes in YouTube. That's why I moved that for you you TikTokers out there, so I could see the number. Do we trade them? No, I wouldn't trade them unless we lose this game. If we lose this game, season's over. Season's over. We win 4 or 5 games at best. If somebody wants to get him and sign him for a deal, then yes. But otherwise, I don't trade him. I run the hell out of him and get Zamir White caught up so he can take over the duties next year in 23. Giants game last year, Jeff says, Giants game last year was never going to be a win, not with the emotional devastation of losing Ruggs and the entire tragedy. Yeah, but Carr played like crap, though. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, it was a terrible week. I had it as a loss before all that when we did the predictions, and people got mad at me. It's like we never played well. That was before Gruden got the boot too. So I made those predictions. We never really played well in the bye weeks with John Gruden. So if we lose this game, tank for a quarter. If we lose this game, I wouldn't be surprised if McDaniels is gone. I mean, how do you lose to the Texans? I mean, go 1-5, can't happen. Can't happen. So again, like Sandy B says, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you guys for coming out. We're going to end this. Appreciate all of you guys coming out, and I will see you on Sunday afternoon about 2:30 Pacific time. We're going to be doing our halftime report of this game. Who knows? I'm hoping we'll be happy, but you know, it's the Raiders. You never can tell. So until then, thank you very much, and as always, go Raiders.
Ask you something, with all the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the years?
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.